Good morning, YouTube. Just give me a few moments here. We're seeming to be having an interesting time trying to connect to TikTok this morning, so we're going to just make a little change here. There we go. That should resolve it. Well, let's see if we can do this again. Just bear with me, everybody. Resume. I just have to reconnect to TikTok. There seems to be some interesting activity going on with the sun, so it's certainly shifting and changing what's happening. I want to say, last night to my patrons that came out to our live event last night, it was absolutely amazing. We had Archangel Raphael with us last night, who discussed the practice and the development of the healing process. And it was really an amazing night. So to my patrons that came out, thank you so much for coming out. What an amazing event. And if you're a member of my Patreon page, you'll get a chance. That video has now been posted upon my Patreon page. It's called The Practice and the Development of the Healing Process. And that's with Archangel Raphael. Very fascinating. We had somebody actually go through a really powerful and profound healing event, which is a normal phenomena when you work with beings that have a working knowledge of energy and consciousness and how to use it. Today I have with me a group of beings that are called the Ascended. And the Ascended are a group of masters that work together to hold energy in very specific and precise ways for humanity as they also evolve themselves in that process. Because what service you perform, they tell me, adds to your own development and evolution. Whether or not you're functioning from an energy of love or you're functioning from an energy of fear, you'll elevate or lower the vibrational frequency of your energy. And they want to share their insight on identifying who you really are. And I kind of got a really big chuckle out of that this morning. Identifying who you really are, because we see on the world today, there's this whole mechanism of what's the term they got? How you identify as, right? You identify as she, her, they, them, him, her, elemental, PQR. And they said this is insanity. You must understand that you can be presented with ideas that will cause you to miss who you are and not define correctly who and what you really are. Many of you have been led down this path of confusion to think that your body is who you are. Your body is not who you are. Your body is an instrument that has been given to you so that you can function creatively and intelligently and learn the process of creating, of manifesting, of orchestrating your experiences in time to offer to the world that which is in your heart, which is part of your soul. Many of you think that by changing the instrument, you will become better than what you are. And we want to clarify that the instrument is simply an instrument. The nature of who and what you are is not of flesh nor of thought. But thought can define flesh, and you can define thought. It is so important you come to this understanding. Your body is a body that is either male or female, and it is not you. It is an instrument that was given to you that you could learn the practice and the actions of creation. That is what the instrument is for. You have a hammer, you cannot use it as a saw because it is a hammer. You have a saw, but you cannot use it as a shovel because the instrument serves a very precise function according to the instrument's nature itself. And the act of creation is not simply a biological process of producing living organisms to come into this world. The instrument is that you can articulate, fashion, structure, idea, image, and energy into creative expression that impacts positively, we would hope, the world around you as you evolve yourself, as you develop yourself, as you elevate your consciousness into a state of alignment with your true nature, the image and likeness of the divine in you. And many of you are confused and think that you must lower yourself and that the image and likeness of your body is the divine. And let us clarify, your body is simply an instrument through which you may express your divinity or your ignorance, your love or your fear, your joy or your sorrow. But the instrument in and of itself is just an instrument. If you make the error of perceiving that your body is the locus of your identity, then you will have a very difficult time, because the body is faced with the polarity of pain and pleasure, fight and flight. The body's nature is extremely limited in terms of what it can or cannot do in this dimension. And if you identify as the body as the source of yourself, then you will be bound by the dictates of instinct, pleasure and pain, and be lost in the constant comings and goings of things, believing that this thing or that thing makes you more or less of who you are. If you have more money or more cars or more homes, that you are somehow more by having more physical things. This is not true. These may give your body more comfort and pleasure, but the manifestation of stuff and things should be a manifestation of your creative consciousness, not for the sake of pleasuring your body exclusively. Your body is an instrument. It is designed to be utilized in very precise and specific ways. Male and female are physical forms on this dimension. They have unique capabilities relative to the definition of the form, but your soul, your consciousness, is here to learn the function of creation. You are here to learn to function consciously and creatively. Many of the ideas and information that have been imparted to your minds, particularly when you were in your state of what many of you call innocence, of what you would call your childhood, the very early or formative stages of the physiological body, where it is beginning to develop from an undifferentiated state of self to a differentiated self of male or female, aware or not aware. And in that early time, you are given information and ideas that may confuse you as to who you really are as a sentient being. To believe that the locus of your identity is only your body will cause you nothing but confusion. Your body is but an instrument through which you articulate creative consciousness, your creative consciousness. The structure of your mind influences and affects the way in which the body will operate. Beliefs, ideas, information, images imparted to you from the environment can impress themselves upon the consciousness of the body, the structure of the physical brain, thereby giving you considerations of behavior and perceptions, ideas and thoughts that may or may not be beneficial, that may not be in alignment with your true nature. To have the capacity to begin the process of distinguishing not so much yourself from your body, but to evaluate and examine the contents of your mind. And from whence did the contents of your mind come? Where did what is in your mind come from? If you ask this question, then much of your confusion will begin to end if you begin to realize, oh, so-and-so told me that I am this when I was very young, and they said it to me many times. And I accept that as an idea, but I did not choose that idea. It was given to me. The liberation of your suffering begins in the process of conscious evaluation of the contents of your mind. Beliefs, ideas, memories, and emotions need to come under the sphere of your watchful consciousness to examine and evaluate the validity, the legitimacy of ideas if they are true to the function of life, true to the function of love, or true to the function of suffering. So who are you really? You are not your thoughts. We can assure you that your thoughts are not who you are. But if you are identified with thoughts and ideas that you've been given, then you will believe that you might be those thoughts. And if you find yourself suffering and in confusion, in doubt and uncertainty, it is because you have ideas that are not in alignment with your true nature. And your true nature is that you are a spiritual entity called the soul, a spirit of universal light. You are a consciousness come into a world of matter and time and space, given mechanisms such as thought and matter to work with creatively, to learn to function creatively. You are a soul. You are not your thoughts. You are not your body. But each has its own unique function. The body being simply the instrument through which you articulate the manifestation of thought and energy as emotion. And that very specific and precise thoughts will necessitate certain functional actions and behaviors, whether those thoughts are true or false. If you believe a thought to be true, then you will live and experience the creative result of that thought. As you cannot escape the fact that you are a creating intelligence, you are learning creation, and you will suffer according to errors in creation, and you will benefit in accordance with intelligent creation. And in order to come to the understanding of how you function creatively, you must begin to evaluate the contents of your mind and how you allow the past to influence your present. For how you allow the past to influence your present will also necessitate that your past will necessitate your future. And although this does not have to be true, many of you are living in a past present, and many more of you are living in a future past. That is a past based, the future based in the past of your beliefs. Many of you are not living as you are living in beliefs and ideas imparted to you from the environment around you, and many of these ideas go unquestioned and unevaluated, or are simply accepted without question. The idea that hot can be cold and cold can be hot is not very logical and will create much confusion if you try to pretend that cold is hot and hot is cold. You will have a very different experience. If you try to pretend something is something other than what it is, you will create confusion in your life and you will create suffering. And yet you came here to learn the function as a creative intelligence. Understand this. Until you begin the process of evaluating the contents of your mind, you will be subjective to them. And your body will be subjected to the beliefs that you hold in your mind, even if those beliefs are incorrect. As equally as your body will be subjective to beliefs that are correct. That you are vibrant and healthy and strong is a very good belief. That you are miserable and unhappy is another belief. Each will produce an effect in your life. All of your thought stimulates the function of energy called emotion in your experience. And you need to understand that only you can alter and change your thoughts unless you choose to defer that process to the environment, which many of you have been conditioned to do from your so-called conventional educational and learning systems that simply tell you to listen and repeat, listen and repeat. And so you become what you've been told to listen to and repeat. You become what you've been told and not who you are. And so many of you find yourself alienated, emotionally imbalanced, confused and uncertain, not because that is your nature, but because you are identified with thoughts and ideas and beliefs that go against your true nature, that go against the understanding of what is true and what is false. And if you try to pretend that that which is true is false and that which is false is true, you will live in confusion. And that is the ultimate truth. If you are in confusion, it is because you are believing something that is not true. Or you are believing that something is true is not. And until you come to the position in your consciousness where you begin to exercise your awareness, your soul, to evaluate your thinking, to cast out that which does not serve you, which is not in alignment with truth and goodness, and embrace that which is. And many of you will look to the world to try and find what is good and true and right. And there are lots of sources on the world right now that will assist you in evaluating your thoughts and ideas, beliefs, to a place where you yourself can say, this is true and this is not true. And the moment you begin to define in your own mind, this is true and this is not true, you begin to establish a new mind that is based on a clarity of truth and an understanding of that which is false. But if you confuse the two, you will be confused. It is very simple. You are a soul. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your memories. You are not the body. These things, thoughts, emotions, the body, are instruments that you need to learn how to properly utilize, as if you have to learn how to use tools to build a house or to fix a car. You must learn to use the tools correctly. And once you understand how to use the tools that were given to you by birth, you were given a body, you were given a mind, and you are a soul. Here to learn to operate the function of the mind and body in such a way that you gain conscious understanding of the process of creation. Because you are made in the image and likeness of a consciousness that created all that you see around you. You did not make the trees and the birds, nor the planets, nor the stars, but a consciousness that did. And that consciousness made you in its image and likeness, that you might also learn the process of creation. And so you start where you are, not where you are not. Whatever your state of confusion, the confusion is not who you are. The fear, the anger, the guilt, the shame that you might carry in your consciousness is not who you are. The wealth, the money, the power that you have is not who you are. They are manifestations that are products of how you interacted with thought, how those thoughts stimulated emotion, how those emotions stimulated the function, how those emotions stimulated the very function of behavior. And everything in your life is a product of this process of you utilizing the function of your soul. You must learn how to utilize the function of your soul and no longer remain subjective to the functioning of your mind. Hear what we are saying. You must learn to make that distinction, that you are not functioning as just the contents of your mind, but you are functioning creatively and intelligently as a soul. You function creatively and intelligently as a soul, and not as a body, not as a mind, and certainly not, as many of you have been conditioned to believe, that you are something other than what you truly are. You are not what they've told you you are. You are a sentient spiritual entity. It is your nature. It is what you are. Now, in my mind right now, I've got to sort this process out here. I got this device trying to pop out here. Excuse me, on TikTok. I hope you're hearing what they're saying. Like, I really hope you're hearing. Yeah, I know the universe is wanting us to do something else. Okay. So listen, you are not your thoughts. You are not your memories. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. These are instruments of creation at your disposal for you to use and create. And I'm going to, if you bear with me for just a second, and see if I can get this to stay back in its holder. I'm going to have to replace this today. Pardon me on TikTok. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not going to stay. It's just going to keep popping out, unfortunately. Aw. Sorry about the noise, guys. I'm trying to see if I can find that little piece of tape. Okay. So we'll leave it at that. I don't think I'm going to get to Q&A to this. Is a little distracting for me. And when you're channeling, you have to be really undistracted. Let's see. But I will take the time to take a couple of questions. Again, for my patrons that have arrived today, thank you for the event last night. Thank you for all your support. That was an amazing night with Archangel Raphael last night on the practice and the development of the healing process. And there we go. So my device is just telling me it's having difficulty going live, so I'm not sure what that is. There we go. What comes after accepting that we are made in the image of God? Well, once you accept the idea, then you learn the practice of creation. You have to learn the practice of what is creation. You use all of your experiences, the good ones and the not so good experiences that you're having right now, are products of how you use your mind, your emotions, that is the type of thoughts that you use, the emotions that those thoughts create, how you allow memory and emotions from the past to influence you, or how you can creatively consider new possibilities. So the act of creation is learning to develop, produce, and manufacture your experiences as an act of your will. You learn to exercise your will creatively and intelligently. That is what you have to learn to do. And then you start to align yourself, and then you go through a process like learning how to meditate, how to step out of your mind, how to shut your mind off for a little while, how to quiet your emotions, how to still your body, to move your awareness to a space of perception that is not defined by the world that you think you are a part of. Meditation will allow you to step out of the room of your mind, the subjectiveness of your body, and you can begin to go in a process of awakening. And we call it awakening because that's exactly what it is. When you awaken to the realization that God's love flows through you as equally as fear can flow through you. And then you realize you have a choice between love and fear. You have a choice between love and fear. And that perhaps is the most important consideration in any instant of your life. In any instant of your life, you only have the choice to go between love or fear. There is no other way. There's no other middle ground. Hi guys, good to see you. Sorry, I know it's frozen. It's the internet right now. It's the internet where we are is having problems because of the solar activity that's going on. We were hit by an intense proton burst during the night. And that proton burst is intensified, accelerated light particles that will influence and affect all of us. So everything on this physical dimension is being altered and changed by these things we call ascension energies. By ascension energies. Now, a couple things I want to go over for those of you, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time here today, but I will be back live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the meditation portion of our weekly show, and I hope you'll join us for that. TikTok is frozen, William. Thank you so much. It's not just TikTok. I'm sure there's other things that are frozen too. But thank you so much for letting it. Still stuck? Well, let me see if I can just refresh the page a bit. I'll just change my... Let's see what happens if I do that. Okay. So let me know if TikTok is not frozen. For those of you that are on TikTok, what was frozen? Thank you. For those of you on TikTok and found that this was frozen, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch the full transmission on my YouTube channel, William Michael Forbes on YouTube, and you can watch the full video after it's rendered. But you're at an interesting point in your lives right now where you get to choose between love and fear. In love in your thoughts, love in your words, love in your actions, or fear in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. There's only those two to choose from. And you need to learn to make the distinction between who you've been taught to think you are and who you really want to become. Because a lot of you have been programmed and conditioned to be unhappy, to be fearful, to be miserable, to believe you have no power and control over your emotions, that you just feel the way. A lot of you have been taught to believe, and many of you have been taught not to believe that you can't change your thoughts, you can't change your emotions, it's just the way it is, and that's bullshit. You are a divine soul. You're designed to have autonomy and authority. Just regarding regaining the live stream, yeah. So you have divine authority to change things. For those of you that want to learn more about how to know who you really are, how to end your suffering, emotional suffering, how to get past your trauma, how to begin the process of healing your body, I invite you to go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and check out Masterclass 102, which begins in 8 days from now. Masterclass 102 is a transforming and healing program. It's how to release yourself from old, emotional, dense energies, which also results more often than not in your body beginning a process of healing and restoration. I want to thank the Ascended for being with us today. I'm being told to tell you they want to emphasize one more time, you must learn to distinguish yourself from your thoughts, yourself from your emotion, and realize that many of your thoughts and emotions that you feel were not of your own choosing, but is your responsibility to change them. Because no one will change them for you but yourself. You must understand you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not even the beliefs that you have, but you can change all of those as an act of your own free will. Come and join us. Come and join us and learn to liberate yourself from unnecessary suffering. You did not come here to suffer. You came here to learn, to create. Wonderful. Thank you. If you got a question and I didn't get it today, you can also go to the Linktree link on my bio on TikTok or the Linktree link below the description on any one of my live videos. You click that Linktree link and you can ask a question. And if you want to leave a small donation for that question, please do so. You can also go to my website and book a one-on-one session with me, williammichaelforbes.com. And I want to wish all of you a wonderful and a joy-filled day. And I will look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday, which is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the meditation portion of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And have yourselves a wonderful, joyful day. Bye for now. Thanks, Drusilla. I appreciate that, darling.